Hi, congratulations on your new RV. We're really excited for you. Please make sure before you're signing that you bring the following items with you. If you're a cash buyer, please make sure that you bring a cashier's check, no personal checks at time of signing, or you may bring actual cash. If you're a finance customer, please make sure that you bring proof of insurance listing your specific lien holder. If you need that information, please call us ahead of time. Also, make sure that you bring all valid driver's license of all persons that will be listed on the title. If you have a trade that you're trading in with us, please make sure that you bring your 10-day payoff as well as your title and all persons who will be listed on the title of that trade. Arrive 30 minutes early before your appointment time so we can properly inspect your unit, and also make sure that you have the fridge on and running prior to arrival. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call at 810-686-0710. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Hello, it's Mike with TradeWinds RV Center, here to congratulate you on your Flagstaff Microlite 25 FBLS travel trailer. I'm going to walk you around it, show you how to use a few things to get the best out of your camping experience. Let's start by talking about arriving at the campsite. A couple things taken into consideration when parking. On your campsite, leave plenty of room for this big awning to come in and out. Over on your off campsite, besides your slide, of course, leave plenty of room for those to come in and out. But I also want you to think about where your power and water connections are going to be. Your power is going to plug in behind your tires on your off campsite or your driver's side of your tow vehicle. And then your water connection for campsites is going to be all the way at the front of the unit. So park accordingly so you can use the facilities at the campsite. Once you arrive and unhook your hitch, first thing you're going to do is level your unit. The unit does come with a power tongue jack. Night docking light, should you arrive at night, simply raise or lower the unit until you're level. Now should you lose power, you do have a little hand crank right here that'll fit in there. Do have this will fit right down inside there and get this up and down should you lose power. Speaking of power, check your battery posts now and then. Make sure those haven't wiggled loose coming down the road. Once we get our unit level, next thing we can do is stabilize it. All four corners of the unit, you have these stabilizing jacks, 3/4 inch hand crank. Not far to the ground, so I recommend stabilizing jack pads. Jack pads are going to protect the feet of your stabilizing jacks from dirt and debris and hot blacktop in the summer. Better distribute the weight, keep your feet from sinking into the ground. Put them down and run these pads down just until they're taut. Once you have any type of resistance on your hand crank here, go ahead and stop. Because remember, our unit's already level, we just want to stabilize it. Got our unit level and stable, we can go ahead and hook up our power and water. Get your power cord, big long 30 amp cord, plugs in back here in the rear, kind of like a pistol grip now. Goes into the left, turn to the right, and then once it's on, go ahead and put your black washer on there to lock that on. Then that 30 amp service, should you need to plug into a 110 somewhere, the 30 to 15 amp reducer comes with your convenience pack. That's your power hooked up. Let's go ahead and hook up our water. Now campsites, we're going to hook up to city water connection. First and foremost, your water pressure regulator. This water pressure regulator is going to reduce the water pressure to 40 to 50 psi, protecting the lines in your unit. Always use this when putting water into your unit. Hook that up, hook up your hose, but don't turn your hose on yet. Let's find your hot water heater. On your unit, located over here on the campsite. And all we're doing at this point, folks, is just making sure our drain plug's back in. You may have left it out last time you were camping. Throw some plumber's tape on there, not putty. Putty will gum up on you. Plumber's tape. Get your rod and plug back in there, nice and tight. I believe that's 1.1/8 inches. Get that in there nice and snug. Once it's in there tight, then you can go ahead and turn that hose on. Now, after that hose has been on for a little while, I need you to go inside, deploy your slides if you need to. What I need you to do is get inside and open up your water taps. Take your water taps, open them up, get all the air out of the lines, get a nice steady flow of water going through them. Then you'll know that your tank is full and you can turn on your hot water heater from indoors. Now let's say we're going to go camping and we're not going to use city water. We're going to go dry camping or boondocking. In that case, let's fill up our potable water or our fresh water tank. No need for a water pressure regulator here. You can simply gravity fill it with a hose. Two ways to tell it's full. One, there's an overflow valve right here. or two on the inside where you check the levels of your tanks, your black and gray. There's also a freshwater reed. Once that's full, remove that hose, put your cap back on, and then when you want to utilize that water, you'll go ahead and turn on your water pump. Don't turn on your water pump and hook up to city water. That's already pressurized. All right, we're all set up with power and water. Ready to camp. Let me go ahead and walk you around the rest of the unit, show you how to use a few other things. Starting here on the off-camp side. So we have our city water connection. Here's your antifreeze inlet. That's where you'll siphon in your antifreeze in the wintertime after bypassing your water heater. Your freshwater tank. Docking lights. Continuing down your off-camp side, this is the other side of your pass-through storage. It's your freshwater drain. There's where we'll hook up to dump our black and gray tanks. Some storage on your slide. Here in the back, here's your black and gray tanks again. You get one up front as an extra gray tank. Your power. Here's where you plug in your cable at the campsites. Spare tire where they cover. You're prepped for a backup camera. You have an outdoor hot and cold shower. You got a ladder, utilize it. Go up there a couple times a year, check the seams of your roof, and caulk as needed with recommended RV roofing caulk. You also have a black tank flush. We'll talk about that when dumping our black tanks. Over your campsite, the main thing I'm going to talk about over here is your awning. You do have a pitch adjust. Simply pull down on that, and that will pitch away any rainwater. That'll work from either end. Your low point drains. Now, right up underneath here. And on your campsite, you do have a table and a griddle that'll set up here. It's up in your storage. Cable in 110 in case you want to hook a TV up out here. There's a mount for your TV. A couple of outdoor speakers, porch light. This is a vent for your microwave. This is a flue for your furnace. Steer clear of that, it'll get hot. And make sure nothing's ever blocking it. Again, your hot water heater. Your LP quick connect is down here. Another place you can put the griddle. There's your griddle and stand, an extra table that you can set up indoors or outdoors. And your hitch work. Coming to the front here, your propane does have a cover. It is on a regulator, so if you're pointing toward the tank you wish to be using, lefty loosey to open, green means you've got gas. Last thing I want to show you on this is your battery disconnect, which is right down there next to your propane tank. That will disconnect all the battery power to the unit. That'll come in important later when I talk about your carbon monoxide and propane detector. That about covers everything out here. Let's go take a look on the inside. Alright, coming up beside your unit, first thing I always like to point out is the fire extinguisher. Make sure that you and everyone that's camping with you knows the fire extinguisher is located at the entry doorway in case of an emergency. To our right on the floor is going to be your breaker box and fuses. Ton of 15s in there, 30, 20, a couple 40s. Highly recommend having some of those with you when you go camping. Above that, we're going to have a heat release. We've got a 110, and up here is going to be our thermostat. Real quickly, I'm going to turn your AC on. Did you hear that? Now shut that off. I'm going to crank your heat up. You see the AC shut off quickly. Now the heat, shut that off now. And remember, on your heat, you got to make sure your AC's or your gas is turned on. So when I shut the heat off, you'll notice that it takes a few minutes for the fan to cycle through on the heat before it actually shuts off. Down below that, tire pressure monitoring system, TPS. I'm going to send you a separate video from Truck Systems Technologies showing you how to set the whole thing up. That should be around in here somewhere. Find that for you. Continue around the corner to your TV. That is on a mount that'll swivel. Crank that up real quick. Show you that working. And wherever you get to Make sure you go into menu on here and do a digital channel scan to be able to pick up the local channels at whatever park you're at. Alright, shut that off. You get a big sound bar here. Stereo, I'll get to in just a second. So over here you can download the One Control app to your phone. It's in the App Store or Google Play. You can control your awnings, your slide outs, and your lights all from your phone. Really cool app. Below that is going to be our command center. Over here is your Wi-Fi Ranger connection. Over here is where you check the levels of your tanks. So you press the button down here, brand new battery. Your fresh water, that's one I said you can hold down and tell when your potable water is full. Black and gray tanks. Over here is where you turn on your water pump if using potable water. Your water heater if hooked to gas, your water heater if hooked to electric, it does make a difference. Tank heater, that'll turn on a little 12-volt pad that's on your tanks. Keep them from freezing if you're in inclement weather. Tons of lighting here. Over here is 2 slide controls and an awning control. On your awning, you don't want your awning when it goes out, make sure you only run it out until that flap falls down to 90 degrees and you can see your brown bar. Now that will continue to run itself out further, start to run itself out backwards if you're not watching it. So keep an eye on it when you run it out. Make sure you only run it out as far as you need to. LED lighting out there as well. We'll run that awning back in here real quick, and then we will continue our tour. Slam locks work best when gently slammed. Alright, let's do a control panel. Let's go over to our sound system. AM, FM, DVD, CD player, Bluetooth. Don't know how many stations I'll pick up indoors here. It's a big metal building, but 3 zones. Indoors, outdoors, or both. Shut it off indoors. Now that's just your bedroom. And then number 3 is outdoors. Or all 3, just rock the whole campground. Also Bluetooth compatible. Clocks, modes. Touch it once for mute. Hold it all the way in to shut it off. Down below that's your fireplace. Not just for looks anymore. I can go through and make it brighter or dimmer. Pretty colors, whatnot. Biggest thing, folks, is the heat. If it's chilly in here in the morning or evening, instead of using up your gas, if you're plugged into a campsite, crank up the heat on this electric furnace fireplace and it will get it toasty in here in no time. Coming into your kitchen, you got a self-explanatory microwave. Below that we have a light and fan. Your glass top here makes an excellent backsplash. Got a panel light over here. Turn that up. Turn this over to high. Hit your spark. You gotta hold it in. Hit your spark at the same time, and when your gas is on, that'll flame up. On your oven, you would just go to light, then you will spark it here, no pilot light anymore, and then just turn this to the desired temperature. Take that panel light, rock it down for an oven light. This is your solar controller of your kitchen sink here. Main purpose of this is to keep your solar panels from overcharging your batteries. You got a 12-volt battery on there right now. You're sitting at 13 volts, fully charged. So I was sending another video from GP Electric explaining every little detail on this, but you don't really have to do too much on it. It really just takes care of itself, unless you want to boost your battery power one time. Other than that, it takes care of itself. It just keeps your solar panels from overcharging your batteries. You have an extension here. That's your GE fridge. Biggest thing on this is that it has this lock to lock this for travel. We have recliners that are parachute pull. Looks like a lumbar support here. In our bathroom, biggest thing here I want to talk about is our door. Make sure your door is snapped open for travel. Same thing in your shower. Make sure your glass doors are snapped open for travel. You also have a hand crank open power exhaust vent in here. 4 different speeds there. 110 with GFCI reset in here. Here's your lighting. A little plumbing to maintain. Back behind this access panel is some PEX plumbing. Pretty easy to maintain. Just keep an eye on it and make sure nothing's wiggled loose over time. You are bouncing a house down the road. You want to make sure nothing's getting loose on you. Heading back down to this corner here is your 12-volt carbon monoxide propane detector. Now, the reason I mention that's 12 volt is always running off your battery. So if you are out boondocking, dry camping, and you have nothing plugged in charging your battery and you're going to be gone for the day, go ahead and use that battery disconnect to keep this from running your battery down while you're gone. Come back into your bedroom. There's your inverter to change your battery power to 12 volt. Take this, make sure that bedroom door is snapped open as well. You're also prepped for a TV in here. Backer here with cable and 110. Oh, excuse me, your backer's over on this wall. Stand corrected right where it's marked. We got some storage under your bed. A couple drawers. You have a hand crank open vent in here. No exhaust fan to it. Nice wardrobe slide. And your lighting. That about covers everything on the inside. Let's act like we're leaving the campsite and get ready to close the unit up. So I like to start by coming in here and shutting off all of my lights, because then I can look around the unit and see all the little accent lights that I need to shut off. Just a couple of these are individuals. Once all of them are off, come back to my control panel and with what I can see, turn back on my interior lights. At this time I would say doors and drawers. Make sure all doors and drawers are closed. Nothing's going to impede your slides from coming in. The doors part is making sure all doors are propped open where you need them to be or closed. Everything's out of the way. Slide number 1 in. Gonna be able to bring our living room slide in here. Make sure that your extension is down. Make sure all your vents are closed. So you utilize about every inch on these things. So why don't you hear that noise? That is just the slide mechanism telling you that it's in as far as it needs to go. You don't need to bring it in any further. I would just do that wardrobe slide. Slides are in. Interior lights off. Walk outside, make sure that all the exterior lights are off. They are. Now the biggest thing on these steps is to make sure that your exterior door is all the way open. Otherwise this could catch on it when you bring it in. Lift that up, it pretty much shoots itself right up. I'm not going to lift it into the door right now because they just wash your unit and it's drying. So just set that back up into your door when it's dry. Make sure that before you leave the campsite you lock and deadbolt this door. Now I say that in case you want to go inside and look at your levels of your tanks when you're dumping. But make sure you lock and deadbolt this door and lift and turn this handle over. You don't want the horror story of your door coming open traveling down the road. Alright, now if we are out boondocking, we're out dry camping, we're going to go up here and we're going to dump this freshwater drain. Get all that out of there. Otherwise, if you're at a campsite, bring up our stabilizing jacks, unhook our power, our water, and our cable, hook up your hitch, and head on up to the dump station. Now at the dump station, park accordingly. You have one hose that comes to your convenience pack, is 10 foot long. You have 2 dumps, one in front of your tires, one toward the rear of the unit. We're going to start with this one in the rear of the unit because that's where our sewage outlet's going to be. Hook up your hose. Reach up underneath here to the right and pull that black handle. That black handle is going to be your sewer. Once that black tank sounds like it's empty, go inside, make sure it is empty. If it is empty, leave that black handle open. Grab the hose at the dump station. Come on around here to this black tank flush. Again, emphasizing that your black tank handle is open. Hook up your hose and turn that on for a good 5 minutes. It's going to wash all that nastiness out of your black tank. When that's done, close that back up. Make sure that all that washout that you just put in there has drained out. Then close it and pull your gray handle. Now once that's done, it's going to be cleaner water as your sinks and your showers. Unhook that hose. Come on down here to gray tank number 2. Hook up and pull that second gray handle. Now while that gray tank is draining, we can come around to our low point drain. Get up underneath there and dump them low point drains. Should be accessible right there. When them are done, if you are done camping for the year, come to your hot water heater. Lift up on this pressure release valve. Be careful because there will be hot water coming out of there. When that's done, press back down on that, otherwise your door won't close. Then you can pull your drain plug. Lastly, we're going to take that sewage hose. When it's done draining in this last gray tank, close that up. Take your hose and conveniently and sanitarily kind of hard to grab wet rubber here. Store it right there in your bumper. Again, thank you guys so much for your purchase. Hope you enjoy this Microlite for many years to come. Happy camping.